Good morning, everyone. This is Commissioner Scar. Commissioner Bell is joining us shortly to lead this meeting. So if you can just give us a few minutes of grace, we'll be right with you.
Good morning, everyone. Sorry for the delay. Can you hear me?
I hear you.
Terrific.
Yes, Commissioner, we can hear you.
Oh, good morning. I apologize
Good
for
morning.
the delay.
I see Commissioner Bell is on with us, and it looks like you're speaking, Commissioner Bell, but we can't hear you.
Okay.
Aaron, we can hear her, Aaron.
I hear her. This is Commissioner Olson. I can hear her. Okay.
Well, good morning. I'm sorry not everyone can hear me. I think we'll proceed. I apologize for my delay. I was using an old link and couldn't quite figure out what to do differently. So thank you, Debbie, for jumping in and helping me. Today is Tuesday, January 23rd, 2024, and we'll call this meeting to order at 8:03 a.m. As a reminder, our new call-in number is 971-254-3149, conference ID 866-914-607#. Before we get started, I'd like to remind everyone to mute your phones. You can do this by pressing *6. Please unmute yourselves when called to speak, again pressing *6. It's very important for all others to remain muted. Thank you. So we'll call this meeting to order. Welcome, everyone. Thanks for joining. I hear that both of my fellow commissioners are on the call, so we'll dispense with the commissioner's roll call and move right into Adventist Health Tillamook. Good morning, Eric.
Hey, good morning, Commissioner.
Good morning.
This morning we have 18 patients in the hospital plus 2 brand new babies. Yesterday we did 5 surgery cases. Our ambulance crews did 4 911 transports, 1 transfer, 1 transport home. 240 patients boarding in emergency departments across Oregon. That's 53 more than yesterday. And 496 discharge delays, which is 14 less than yesterday. As a reminder, Dr. David Bradburn, who's been practicing medicine here since 1998, is retiring at the end of the month, and we'll be holding a reception for him on February 1st from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Plaza. If there are folks that want to stop by and congratulate Dr. Bradburn on his retirement and thank him for his many years of service to our community. So with that, that's all I've got, unless you've got questions for me.
Do we have any questions for Eric? If not, we'll say thank you and move on to the Coastal Caucus.
So Commissioner Bell, very quickly, as Commissioner Scar, I had no audio, but now I do. So I am here. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you. Do we have Senator Weber with us this morning?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, good morning.
Good morning. It was so nice to walk this morning and not get wet. And I know that that's coming to an end soon, but it just felt so good.
Good.
We're gearing up for short session. Short session is 35 days where we will work on budget, items that need, theoretically, need to be tweaked, and the governor has one bill of importance in this session, and it is revolving around housing. And so I am canvassing my district, looking for housing projects that are ready to go or are in progress that could possibly use some additional funding. And these are not projects that are market rate rents. Instead, they are low income and workforce. So I have been advocating because I feel that we have greater needs, because we can't have housing projects currently in the city of Tillamook, and correct me if I'm wrong, because we don't have sewer and water capacity. And so I'm putting together a capital construction list for my district because it seems to be something that we have neglected for the last 50 years. And I'm putting together this list of all of those projects. And we are drawing from the data we had from last session, but we are making sure that, you know, it's correct for going ahead, just to be able to try and justify the fact that we can't have any further development without that infrastructure to support it. And so that is what we have been working on. Other than that, I've been working on seniors with disabilities. And once again, it is an agency that needs additional funding that wasn't completely funded in the last session. And Oregon School Board Association has the same challenge, advocating for additional funding for our schools. And of course, housing for insecurity for medically complex seniors is another issue that they're coming to me for support for additional funding. School funding is something that is really on the forefront as to how we fund schools effectively. With diminishing enrollment and the loss of 30,000 students in our state and test scores, everyone is trying to figure out how it is we can appropriately fund education to make sure that the learning is in place. One of the things that I have been working on is the Early Literacy Educators Preparation Council. We had a 3-hour meeting yesterday to talk about what it is that is needed to be able to train teachers to effectively teach reading. It's a riveting conversation to take all of the things that are needed to be able to know in order to teach reading. And let me tell you, there is a big push to bring cursive back and to make it a requirement. So all of you folks who have special feelings about cursive and the fact that our children can't read it anymore, be assured that someone is working on that. I was invited to speak at the Association of Oregon Loggers on Saturday at noon. It was a really good group. We had a really good discussion about the future of logging and everything that the timber industry does to support the Northwest and our rural way of life. And then in the evening, I was invited to the Clatsop County Working Watershed Council dinner, which was a benefit for the Clatsop County Youth Natural Resources and Career and Technical Education groups. And I think there were 5 schools that were represented, and there were about 500 people there. And it was a wonderful steak and crab dinner. And I know that they raised a lot of money to be able to support our youth in natural resources. Today I'm going to do some hunger task force work, and because we are especially concerned about being able to feed our kids in the summertime. And that is a real focus of this group. And I will be in Salem to have some other meetings today, so it's going to be on the road again. I was sad to see that we had a huge fire in Ilwaco yesterday, and unfortunately they lost, 3,500 at least crab pots up there, and it's going to really impact the crab season on the North Coast and in Washington. So big fires can happen even at fish processing plants. So other than that, I looked for this morning some data on when the museum will be reopening. Maybe one of the county commissioners can give us some information on that, because it sounds like our museum has done some rearranging, renovating, cleaning, and that we're all going to be invited to be able to see that. Another museum that is having an opening this week is the Astoria Maritime Museum, and they are working to expand what they are doing, and our museums are very important. They chronicle our past, and our past is what we have to rely on when we move to the future. And so I'm very grateful for all of the work that they're doing, and I am happy to be able to support them. And I think that's where I'm going to finish today. So thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, Senator. I appreciate what you said about bringing cursive back to school. My son, who is 26 years old, recently told me I handed him something written in cursive, and he said, "I can't read that." And I thought, are you kidding me? So, but apparently it's a thing. Cursive isn't taught in school, so young people are not writing it or reading it, which just seems crazy to me. So thanks for working on that.
Thank you for bringing that up.
Madam Chair, if I may.
Absolutely, please.
Thank you. Senator Weber, thank you for all that you were doing. I wanted to follow up on a couple of things with you. One of them is around, you said, looking for housing projects that are workforce or affordable, that are underway or ready to go. So I'm not sure if you were able to catch up with the Housing Commission's round of multifamily rental housing projects, but we have 8 that have been proposed for that committee.
Terrific. I need to find out that information so that I can impart that. I didn't realize that there were 8 of them. And I think that throughout the county, it is so necessary, and I'm happy to hear that that's going forward.
So I was kicked out of the meeting for a minute by my internet. Hopefully you heard what I said, that we have those available. We'd love to share with you ready projects on that one.
Yes, I need to have those ready projects.
Perfect. I'll have Parker send you an email.
The other thing is, I meet with Columbia County commissioners to talk about legislative priorities. This week, I'm going to be meeting with Washington County to talk about legislative priorities around safety. And I've met with them before because, we are connected also with Highway 6, and they're concerned about that, in addition to many other things along the Highway 26 corridor. But I would appreciate it if someday we as a group could sit down, since our Tillamook County caucus is Representative Javity and myself, and be able to talk about what our county needs are going forward. We've got a long session coming in 25, and I think that this is an opportunity for us to be able to really examine what is affecting our county, and to be able to move forward legislatively, South County, North County, Central County. So, and when it's feasible, I would appreciate it if we would be able to schedule that meeting and be able to talk about those things.
Thank you, Senator. I would love to talk about those things. So absolutely, let's get it on the schedule. Would you like to wait until after the short session?
Unless there's something that is, really critical right now, I would like to know when these issues come forward, if you support them or not. Look at the governor's bill on housing and see how that's going to impact us potentially. And if you have ideas or issues or opinions on that, I would appreciate knowing that. Because I think that we have to represent the people, and I'm very dedicated to doing that, and I wouldn't want to vote for something that you were not in support of.
Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. On the housing bill, I will say that Sarah Abshar, our planning director here at the county, has been engaged through the AOC Planning Directors Group and keeping an eye on that bill to make sure that what's being put in it is complementary to the county and not damaging. And it really, for the most part, affects our cities more than our county. But at this point, it looks like a good bill.
Thank you.
And in answer to your question about the Tillamook County Pioneer Museum, I believe it is scheduled to reopen the 1st of February. And I invite Commissioner Scar to correct me if I'm mistaken about that.
No, you're absolutely correct. It opens the 1st of February, and there is a grand reopening event from 3 to 6, which will have snacks and I believe a presentation. So we invited everybody to come over to the museum between 3 and 6 on the 1st to wander through the new exhibit, enjoy some snacks, and just refamiliarize yourself with the museum because it has undergone a bit of a change. It looks quite nice.
Very nice. Thank you. Do we have any other questions for Senator Weber? If not, I'll check in and see if Representative Javity is with us.
I am here.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning. Thanks, Senator Weber. Good to hear from you again. And good morning, commissioners. Good to hear your voices. I will keep this, I'll try to keep it brief. We're getting ready for short session. Still waiting to see what bills are going to drop from a lot of the legislators. Definitely what I am seeing are housing bills and Measure 110 and bills which relates to drug use. And then the issues surrounding recreational immunity continue to flood my inbox. And rest assured, we are looking for any bill that we can to deal with that and get that fixed in this short session. Someone may have already found one, and if so, I'm behind the 8 ball. There's a lot of information coming in daily, a couple hundred emails, it feels like, just this weekend. So I might have missed something, but I am still looking for that. And I know it's something that's important to our communities and all up and down the coast. And so this is one of my major priorities for this session. Other things in my inbox this week, some people are frustrated with the gas station laws. They would love to see full service still be available. I honestly, at this point, I think there's not a lot of enforcement that I can do as a state representative. Part of the agreement was that there would be an option available for people who want that. And my best advice right now for people is to reach out to the individual fueling stations, gas stations, and ask them to if that service is available and that you'd appreciate it. But right now, the law has changed, and now self-serve is possible throughout the state. I'm meeting with city and county leaders this week. Tonight I'll be in Clatskanie meeting with leaders out there. I'm meeting with Tillamook city leaders this week as well. Talking a lot about urban growth boundary issues. I've heard from mayors throughout the district who want to be able to expand or make changes to their urban growth boundary without interference from the state. It's just too complicated for small communities. And of course, we talked about Measure 110. That continues to be an issue. We'd like to see that crime raised to a misdemeanor A. I think I'm saying that right. Instead of where it is now. And there's going to be some going back and forth on that and between both sides of the aisle. And it should make for some fun debates in Salem. Hopefully we'll come to a solution that sees the use of drugs cut down and, as a result, less overdose deaths. and then just less addiction in general. But we want to keep that funding in place to make sure we can continue to fund those projects. So those are my kind of objectives and goals there. And let's see, what else? Oh, and the Habitat Conservation Plan, which I can't believe I said what else, but that is probably taking up 80% of my time as far as legislative work goes. I've got meetings today, tomorrow, and Friday, talking with private stakeholders as well as the state forester and law enforcement, kind of all the stakeholders that have a concern about this going forward. I don't have any new details about that I can share, and that's not because I'm keeping it close to the vest. That's just because, from the research I've been doing and the work I've been doing, nothing's really changed since I talked last week. That might be different from the county commissioners. I know that Commissioner Scar, you have kind of another avenue that and source that you participate in with the Governor's Commission. So that's all I have today.
Thank you, Representative. Yes, please.
Yeah, I was gonna jump in and just say what I do know about the HCP is that ODF is signaling that they are coming to a decision point on it. And they've signaled that by letting us know that they are wrapping up public comment. So they will take no more public comment on the HCP at their Board of Forestry meetings. They do have a listening tour scheduled, which will be with Cal and not with the Board of Forestry, but there are 3 meetings scheduled across Oregon to listen one more time to public input on the HCP. The first one is January 25th in Eugene at the Lane Event Center. It is from 5 to 8. People will need to arrive at 5 and get signed up between 5 and 5:30. They will take testimony between 5:30 and 8, 2 minutes per person. It will be a very structured process. The second one of those is a virtual place to make comment, and that's January 29th. That one is from 1 to 4. It will follow a similar format. You will have to sign up ahead of time. You can find that link on the Board of Forestry's webpage. Then on January 31st, there will be a listening session in Astoria, also 5 to 8, following that same process. So again, if you are interested in that, you can go to the Oregon Department of Forestry webpage and find all the details, or please feel free to reach out to me. I can share that with you, the addresses, et cetera, where these will take place. But what we have kind of been told is this is signaling that they're moving toward a decision. So all the conversations, Representative Javity, that you're having are important. I hope that you're also reaching out to the Board of Forestry if you're able. I've had some of those conversations and will continue to have them. We really need to make sure that we've been heard and that any changes that can be made are being made to make this the best HCP possible, or to have it completely, thrown to the curb and begin again, although certainly what we're hearing in their signaling is that is unlikely, but it doesn't mean it's not possible if we can get enough of the Board of Forestry to agree. So those public comment options are coming up quickly, and that really is what they have told us will be the last opportunities to comment on the HCP.
Thanks, Commissioner.
Thank you, Commissioner, and thank you, Representative Javity. I think it's interesting what you mentioned about self-serve gas, that you're hearing from people who are upset about self-serve gas. And I am one of them, although I haven't contacted you about it. I just don't prefer to pump my own gas. I'm capable of it, but I don't like it. I don't prefer to. So currently, I am going to Chevron in Tillamook on 4th Street, where they still pump your gas. And I invite folks who are listening to let us know which gas stations are still pumping gas, and we'll share that information. Part of my frustration about it is I know it's hard for everybody to get employees, but we're not paying less. We're not paying less. And if, I like the idea that part of the money I'm spending goes to employ somebody, and that's important to me. So I think it's just a really kind of messy issue, and a lot of people are unhappy about it, and I'm not surprised that they're reaching out to you. So thanks for working on that.
Absolutely, great idea too, to have people reach out and share where the full service stations are, and I don't know how gas prices are figured other than taxes and what they pay, but I'm gonna go ask around to a couple of people in town and see if I can get a sense of what can be done there as well, just from not legislatively, but just practically speaking. So, thanks for the insight.
Yeah, thank you. Any other questions for Representative Javity? If not, we'll say thank you for joining us, and we can move on to the Tillamook County Health Centers.
All right, thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
good morning, Commissioners. It's Ed with the Health Department here.
Good morning, Ed.
Well, good morning and good morning, Tillamook County. Today, January 23rd, is Maternal Health Awareness Day. The American College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists state that the 12 months immediately after delivery can be critical because that is when some of the most deadly pregnancy-related complications occur. Those living with maternal mental health conditions must have continuous access to care as they already face systemic challenges in accessing the treatment they need. Public Health actively works to support parenting individuals both during and after pregnancy with our 2 home visiting programs, Babies First and Cocoon. Babies First can provide services to pregnant and parenting individuals until the child turns 5. Our Cocoon program serves children birth through age 21 who have developmental, medical, or physical disabilities that may affect them through their lifespan. In both programs, home visitors help to connect families to resources such as OHP, healthcare, dental, and other social services type of support. Home visitors also provide education and support individuals through pregnancy, postpartum, newborn, and childhood phases with things like weight checks, infant feeding, and developmental screens. We are able to provide these programs in both English and Spanish with certified medical interpreters and Spanish-speaking home visitors. To connect with home visiting services, please give us a call at 503-842-3943. Now, tomorrow, we're extremely excited to partner with CARE again for their annual Houseless Connect event that's coming up tomorrow, the 24th, at the Tillamook Fairgrounds. This event is from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m., and folks can receive a $25 Fred Meyer gift card if they are eligible and complete the point-in-time count. This count is going to determine funding and support Tillamook receives from state and federal government sources for this community. There will also be a large-scale resource fair and clinic, and we're thrilled to provide our services at this event again. CARE is actively taking donations such as warm clothes, blankets, and pet food throughout today for the event tomorrow. For more information, or if your organization would like to participate, please reach out to either Jeff or Elizabeth at CARE. And lastly, due to the winter weather storm that we had, Oregon households who received SNAP benefits and lost food during that time may be eligible for replacement benefits. If you had to throw away food purchased with SNAP due to the recent winter storms or power outages, you can request replacement benefits to purchase new food. You must request replacement benefits within 10 calendar days of the food loss. So please call 800-699-9075, or you can also email them at oregon.benefits@odhsoha.oregon.gov, or you can visit the DHS office in Tillamook to get the process started. And that is our update for the health department. We'll turn it back over to you.
Thank you very much, Ed. Do we have any questions for Ed? I appreciate what you said about possible SNAP benefits for people who lost food during the storm and the power outage. I think that's really, it's important because if people have a very limited amount of food and they lose it, then it's important that people have the opportunity to replace it. So thanks for mentioning that.
Absolutely.
Okay, if we don't have any questions for Ed, we can move on to the Nehalem Bay Health Center and Pharmacy. Gail, are you with us this morning?
Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
A couple of announcements this morning. The Nehalem Bay Health Center and Pharmacy is pleased to welcome a new primary care provider to our team, Amber Hamilton. She's a family nurse practitioner, joined us last week. Amber has a background and experience in rural health care centers, working with patients of all ages. Amber will spend part of the time as a provider at the Nia County Student Health and Wellness Center, as well as here at our main facility. that's one announcement. And then also, yes, Homeless Connect events. Our outreach team will be attending this as well. There's one tomorrow, as Ed already referenced. Thank you very much. And that's in Tillamook. It's organized by CARE at the fairgrounds. And then one next week in Seaside, organized by Clatsop Community Action. And those are my announcements for this morning.
Thank you, Gail. Do we have any questions for Gail? If not, we'll move on to Tillamook Family Counseling Center. Frank Hanna Williams, are you with us this morning?
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Frank Hanna Williams, Director at Tillamook Family Counseling Center, Behavioral Health Services for Tillamook County residents. You can reach us at 503-842-8201 for agency information, concerns, or questions about appointments or any services that we provide. I would like to highlight that during the month of February, we are going to be involved with as a result of our partnership with the Northwest Parenting. It's a collaboration with Tillamook, Clatsop, and Columbia counties, providing a self-care workshop for parents. That workshop will be on February 20th, and also during the month of March, there will be a active parenting series. It will be on 3 separate dates in March, and as we're formalizing that, please call for information on both the self-care workshop, a opportunity for parents to learn skills and to be supportive of each other, and also the same for the parenting skills, active parenting in March. If you have any questions about that or that we might be able to clarify, please give us a call at 503-842-8201 and ask specifically about the parenting supports. That's for February, and for March, I want to, and the last thing I want to mention here is this will be a very special shout out to a staff person who has been on staff here at the agency for, it is 32 years. And he is ending his career and retiring. And next week, on the 31st, between 3 and 6 p.m. at the Pacific Restaurant, it will be an opportunity for us all to be able to honor Victor Bofill. And as I say, he's had a long history. He's done many things for us, and many things for the community. And that will be an opportunity to wish him well. So I will answer any questions anyone has. And that is the end of my report.
Thank you, Frank. As I've mentioned before, I took the parenting class when my son was a pre-adolescent, and he was just super strong-willed and stubborn, and I was having trouble communicating with him, and it was very helpful. It was very helpful. He wasn't in any kind of trouble, nor was I. I just wanted more tools. I wanted more skills, and I got them there. It was a terrific class, so I recommend it.
Thank you, Commissioner.
You're welcome. Do we have any questions for Frank? If not, we'll move on to the Sheriff's Office. Sheriff Brown, are you with us?
Good morning. I am here.
Good morning.
Don't have a lot to report on this week. I know if you are a South County resident or you kind of pay attention to what goes on in South County, there's a lot of buzz surrounding a crash that happened in the closed area. There has been some frustration with residents down there because multiple people keep sneaking past a barricade. And you know, it's one of those situations where it's a very, you know, big problem with people sneaking past. It's very high profile because there's been a lot of media coverage or pictures online, things like that. You know, but we still, as the sheriff's office, have to balance priority calls as well as maneuverability. You know, if we have a deputy that's sitting there monitoring that, they may be stuck and not be able to get to one place or another without having to take a long way around. And I can say too that despite the difficulties that I just mentioned, our deputies have patrolled and have sat there and monitored. There has been citations issued. So although it may not be as much as some people would like, we have actually done enforcement action in that area. So as far as the crash is concerned, we do have a press release on our Facebook page, but it is an ongoing investigation, so I can't say a whole lot about it. And you know, what information is in our press release is pretty much the extent of what we can discuss. So I would encourage anybody that is curious to take a look at that. As I said, I don't have much of anything else to discuss, so that would be the end of my report unless anybody has questions.
Thank you, Sheriff. I appreciate it. And I appreciate you bringing up the crash on the landslide, which of course people are asking about and wondering about. And it's just, it's amazing to me that people would want to drive on a closed road. I heard yesterday from Chris Lady, Director of Public Works, that people are moving barricades and cutting chains in order to drive on a closed road, active landslide where half the road is missing.
Yeah, it surprises me as well. Some people have little consideration to, you know, rules or safety, things of that nature. You know, and it's just really because people don't want to drive the long way around. It's a long drive, absolutely, but you know, there's only so much that Public Works can do to block it off. If people are willing to cut locks and move barricades, there's only so much that we're able to do unless we, you know, post somebody there 24 hours a day. You know, it's people are going to sneak through, and you're not going to stop that kind of, you know, irresponsibility, I guess.
Right. Yeah. Well, thanks for letting us know, and thank you for your report.
You bet.
Okay, let's move on to emergency management. Randy Thorpe, are you with us?
You bet. I'm here, Commissioner.
Good morning.
Well, start off with, of course, the National Weather Service is predicting rain. Kind of odd for Tillamook County in the winter, but I know it's just something we're going to have to deal with here over the next week or so. I've been looking at the river levels, and they are constantly going up over the last several days, and it's kind of a slow climb, but it's still something that we need to monitor and make sure that we're well aware of if those rivers do reach action stage or even minor flooding. No predictions yet from the Weather Service on flooding, but again, just like I say, I've been just monitoring those river levels there. As far as rain totals, are looking at 1/4 to 1/2 inch today, you know, around 1 inch tomorrow, another 1/4 inch Thursday, inch on Friday. So it's not a lot of rain each 24-hour period, just a nice steady rain. So hopefully that will not swell our rivers too bad on that. A couple things I wanted to just throw out there about severe weather. And the biggest thing is that we've got to make sure we have communication plan in your family. So when emergencies happen, like last weekend, you know how to contact your family, both immediate and extended, and also friends around you. Just make sure you have some kind of plan in place there. Make sure you have those emergency supplies, not only in your home, but also in all the vehicles that you drive. And one thing too, is it's probably a good idea to revisit your insurance policies and see what kind of coverage you have that would cover such things as ice damage, flooding due to pipes bursting, things like that. So it's a good time to check your coverage and make sure you've got the coverage that you need to take care of any situation that may happen. Another thing, since we did have quite a few power outages, a few tips there is make sure you keep refrigerators and freezers closed, except for when you're, getting food out. Don't sit there like me and open the door and look and see what you want. Also, if you do run generators, make sure that they're not inside your house, that they're outside and away from any windows that you have. And they do warn you, do not use a gas stove to heat your home. It's probably tempting for a lot of people, but that's very hazardous to do that. And then the other thing too is just make sure you have some alternate plans for refrigeration of any medications you have, or if you happen to be using some power dependent medical devices. Just make sure you have some alternate plans and some backups for that. So with that, that's the end of my report. Just be safe out there and drive careful with this rain, because it will still make the road slick. I did look at Highway 6 this morning, and it looks like it's about 37 degrees at the summit. So it'll definitely just be rain up there, and hopefully it won't turn to any ice. But again, if you're traveling out of the county, just do so with extreme caution at this time of year. And that's my end of report.
Thanks, Randy. Thanks for the updates and for encouraging all of us to be prepared for the next storm. In this storm, when the power went out at my house, what caught me off guard, I had done most of the things. I had made sure I had propane for my cook stoves, which I only use outside on the back porch. And, you know, my headlamps were charged, etc. So I had done all of the things except for I forgot to fill some buckets with water. And my house is on a well, so there's no running water when the power goes out. And so I realized, like, maybe I need a checklist. So I'm just sharing that with folks who are listening in case a checklist would also be helpful to you. Maybe, in fact, our office could produce a checklist, or such a thing already exists. So Randy and I will work on that and get back to the community about it. And also, Randy, thanks for talking about potential flooding. In North County, the Nehalem is very high. So I'm glad you're keeping an eye on river levels. A bunch of the fields are already flooded. And so it's pouring in North County. So right now I'm at Barview Jetty County Campground, and it is not raining at all here, but it was pouring in North County this morning. So river levels change quickly, and would you tell people, just remind people where they can get online and check the river levels themselves?
You bet. If you go to the, let me pull up the exact site here. Okay. If you just go to the National Weather Service site, and then you, it'll just ask you for, no, sorry. What you need to do is go to the website. It's water.weather.gov. And that should take you into the what they call hydrological prediction services. And then that way it's got a map there, and you can click on any of the rivers in the entire United States, and it'll give you current river levels, predicted river levels. It's really kind of a lot of things you can do. You can also look at probabilities of possible flooding. So again, that's just go to water.weather.gov. And then you'll just be able to link out into your rivers that you want off of a area map.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Any questions for Randy? If not, we will move into our Board of Commissioners updates. And Commissioner Olson, we haven't heard from you yet this morning.
Oh, good morning, Commissioner. Can you hear me okay? I know we've got a new setup here at the county. Am I coming through?
You are coming through. Good morning.
Oh, good morning. Well, I'll add a little bit to the conversation we had on Sand Lake. The sheriff pretty well covered the accident, and as he pointed out, there's an ongoing investigation. Evidently, there may have been some illegal things, not to mention driving around a blocked road. The project itself, to get it where it is passable, has a few steps ahead of it. There was a short delay. Well, first of all, we had a weather delay, as most everybody did in Northwest Oregon, or all of Oregon, actually. Part of the delay is there's some fiber running through there, meaning telecommunications type fiber. And before you can work the earth and install some earth nails, They have to locate that and possibly take it out of the way. Pretty obvious thing. So that slowed it down a few days. Then the next step is to insert some what they call soil nails that go far into the ground and begin to stabilize it, and then rework the dirt. And I believe they're going to haul off somewhere in the range of 100 or more dump truck loads of soil, and take that up to a county site also on Sand Lake Road, a bit further inland. Then they'll begin building a retaining wall and stabilize it. And then there'll be a traffic control device, so you'll be able to do one-way traffic north or south, one at a time, and maybe on a timer. All of that should be done sometime in mid to maybe late March. So it's as much as 60 days out, but there is hope for all of us that go that way frequently or used to go that way. So that's a good thing. So that's one item, and just stay tuned for more, both from the sheriff's office and Public Works here at the county. Second thing I would talk about for a moment is Tillamook Lightwave. We have our monthly meeting in about an hour from now over at Tillamook PUD. And for those of you who are not familiar with Tillamook Lightwave, it's a middle mile provider of fiber for internet services around Tillamook County. It's been around for over 20 years. The organizations behind it now are Tillamook County and Tillamook PUD. For a period of time, the port of Tillamook Bay was a part of that, but they withdrew late last year. So we've been in the process of talking about bringing in another agency to help fill out some of the needs and management responsibilities. I've talked with the 911 district, which covers all of the county, and they've expressed some interest. I've also talked on a couple of occasions with the board of our community college, Tillamook Bay Community College. They also have expressed some interest. And then HOPAC, which is a regional economic development group, also has some interest, and I've spoken with their new director. So more to come on that. We'll be discussing that this morning at our meeting, as I said, in about an hour, and find a way forward in one way or another. So more to come on that. We're also working on the grant side of it with some of our consulting partners, because as we've mentioned over the last months, there's a tremendous amount of money in Tillamook County, upwards of almost 700 million plus, for expansion of broadband, primarily in rural areas. So we hope to get our share of that, and we're preparing a lot of documentation and a really strong case to get our share. A couple other things I'll mention. Commissioner Bell took a couple of days off and asked me to fill in on looking after the Parks Department. I did that, went up there and learned more than I already knew, which wasn't a whole lot, that Tillamook County has just an amazing Parks Department. We've got parks scattered all over the county and a relatively small staff. There's several vacancies now, but it's just one of the greatest park systems in the state of Oregon. And I will say that, having been to many of them, and in my long ago past managed a park system in Washington County. So we have a gem right here in our backyard, and I'm sure Commissioner Bell can speak to that more. Excuse me. A couple of other quick items. The commissioners are in the process of appointing 3 members to our budget committee. It consists of 6 members, the 3 commissioners, and then 3 lay members. And the practice has been over the years to try and get a geographic dispersion across the county, north, central, south, if possible. Not always possible, but we've interviewed several, and we'll be making a decision on that over the next couple of weeks. And budget season is almost underway. There'll be some hearings in April and then again in May. So a lot of work behind the scenes, and we'll get that committee put back together in the next few weeks. And then finally, another thing the commissioners are looking at, just very briefly, we started looking at some options for space to accommodate the court system. That's been an issue here at Tillamook County for many years, and the courts, especially one of them, are woefully inadequate. There's all kinds of security issues and so on. And in Oregon, the counties have a statutory responsibility to provide safe, adequate space for the courts. And Tillamook County, unfortunately, has been ranked among the least best, I would say, or among probably the worst court facilities in the whole state of Oregon. So we're looking at a lot of options, and there'll be plenty more to come on that. But that's where we are, and I believe there's an item on this week's agenda to begin that conversation. So with that, Chair Bell, I'll pass it on to my other colleague.
Thank you, Doug. Commissioner Scar.
Good morning. Thank you.
Good morning.
Hopefully I will stay connected long enough to do this report. I've been getting kicked in and out of this meeting all morning. Okay, I was able to talk about a couple of my items already, that being the Habitat Conservation Plan listening sessions and the Pioneer Museum. So I will jump in on a couple other things. Many of you are very familiar with the Tillamook County Working Lands and Waters Committee that Commissioner Yamamoto was a member of before, and I have taken that seat for him. We are preparing to have 2 tours this year with Working Lands and Waters, and so I'm hoping that Senator Weber is still with us. I think that she is, and possibly Representative Javity. We are hoping to bring some folks from the state legislature out to do this tour with us. It's an opportunity for members of the legislature to come and see and have conversation, in this case, around how the private forest accord is being implemented in Tillamook and what that looks like. So that's the area of focus we're hoping for in this VIP tour, hoping to bring about 30 folks out here. So I will be reaching out, Senator, to you for suggestions, and same with Representative Javity. So that's exciting. It's been a really great opportunity for us to get, in the past, legislators and new county commissioners and others who will have potential impacts at the state level on how we do what we do in our forests and farms and fisheries, to come out and see them and to understand the best practices that are already in place. So it's a great opportunity. So working on planning a couple of those for the coming year. Shifting to Association of Oregon Counties, I'm just going to highlight an upcoming transportation funding forum. So one of the key things that the Association of Oregon Counties does is work with our legislature so that as they are seeking to put solutions into place that will impact counties, our voice is at the table. We are expecting a large funding package to come from ODOT in the 25-27 session. We know that they have been struggling with adequate funding. We know we're all struggling with adequate roadways. So we have been at AOC convening a funding forum over the last 6 months, and will continue to do that into and up to the 25 session, so that we can really make sure that we're sitting at the table with the right folks, talking about our needs related to transportation funding, as well as those all across the state. So there's a combined Association of Oregon Counties and League of Oregon Cities Transportation Funding Forum coming up on Friday, January 26th from 1 to 2:30. The public is welcome to join us. We don't take public comment, but you can certainly listen and learn along with the rest of us. This is going to be a really good one. We're going to have presentations from Governor Kotek's transportation policy staff, as well as other transportation stakeholders in the construction industry, the environmental community, and freight carriers. So this discussion is just going to explore the range of interests and priorities as we look at the future of Oregon's transportation system. So this is really important. We get our funding through the state transportation process, and we need to be at that table. So anyway, it should be a good opportunity to learn. I'm going to jump back in real quick to courts as well. I appreciate Commissioner Olson bringing this up. We are exploring how we can meet our mandated service of providing adequate court services. And I want to just acknowledge that last year, one of the pieces we had been looking at was whether we could move the commissioners out of the courthouse in order to expand what the circuit court would use in the courthouse. And there are 2 funding sources that are possible for us. One of us comes from the state of Oregon. It's a renovation fund. The other is for new courthouses only, and it is a bond fund that comes from the state of Oregon. So as we are exploring how we can provide circuit court what they need. We've been exploring both funding sources and both avenues. And as we have looked at moving the commissioners out to try to allow circuit court to expand, at this time, the square footage just doesn't look like it's probably going to work to be able to give circuit court what they need. So I guess I would bring that up only as this is a complex project. It's been worked on by the commissioners for probably nearly 20 years, certainly 15 years. And we'll be exploring a variety of options. And if you as listeners or residents have questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to your commissioners to talk about this issue. It is a complicated one that many before us have tried to solve. And we again have put it back on the table with the intention to try to solve it. So thank you for that, Madam Chair. I will turn it back to you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Well, I'll follow up on the courts topic just for a moment to say that last year, when, as Commissioner Scar was saying, we were discussing the possibility of building a courthouse annex, and the commissioners would move into the annex. And we apparently didn't do a good job of explaining that because it got misconstrued in the public eye as the commissioners want to build themselves a Taj Mahal office, et cetera. And that was never the case. Actually, our facilities, the facilities the commissioners are in are adequate. We don't need something different. What the entity that needs more is circuit court, as my colleagues have said. And so we were thinking that if we moved ourselves out and circuit court took over our space, it would be enough for them. And so that was the idea. The idea was never that we wanted more or better than we have. It was that if we move, circuit court would have adequate space, which, as Commissioner Scar said, maybe is inaccurate. Maybe it would not be adequate space. So that's, I just want to speak to that because as it comes up again this year in the budget cycle, people have already asked me, like, are the commissioners still talking about building themselves new offices? So I think we need to do a better job about communicating our intention for any kind of construction and the reason for it. So also, I'll just say thanks to Doug for covering for me, Commissioner Olson rather, for covering for me for a couple days while I was away. And he is right. Parks is outstanding. Tillamook County Parks is just a fabulous department, wonderful staff, wonderful facilities, and I'm grateful to Commissioner Olson for his help and really grateful to our staff who work here. And it's a big job. It's a going concern. So it's a pleasure to be a part of it. And I had just a couple days off, and it was it was wonderful. I came back just full of gratitude for friendship. I'm awash in gratitude because I feel like I'm really rich in friends, and that's an extraordinary thing. It's a wonderful thing. And I had the opportunity to spend time with people I've been friends with for 40 years, over 40 years. And some people I've been friends with for a shorter period of time, but still, I feel wonderfully loved and supported in this community and beyond. And I'm very grateful for that. And the other thing I want to mention is I got a message from Maria Nagy, who is the manager for KTIL. And this show right this minute is not being broadcast as usual because their tower is down. So here's Maria's message. I'm just going to read it. Unfortunately, the storm did major damage to our equipment on the Cape Mears Tower. Both of the big FMs are currently non-operational. Equipment is on its way along with engineers. We tried to fix it over the weekend, but it didn't work. So Maria is on the call today. She's recording it, and this call will go up on the KTIL podcasts because people do listen to this call on podcasts after the fact. So the community I know is wondering, where's KTIL? Because they can't tune in. And so for those of us on the call today and people who are listening to the podcast thereafter, you'll know that their towers are down. They're working to fix it. Equipment and engineers are on the way. So our best to KTIL for a quick fix. And thanks to Maria for being with us this morning and recording. And with that, I will move over to the cities. Do we have the city of Manzanita on this morning? Manzanita? How about Nehalem? Wheeler? Anyone from Wheeler? Rockaway Beach? Mayor McNeely, are you with
Good
us this
morning.
morning? Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing fine, thank you. I'll start by just mentioning that City Manager Shepherd and I will be in the second floor conference room of City Hall on Thursday at 9 a.m. for our monthly coffee with Manager and Mayor. Please join us and share what's on your mind. And then Thursday evening at 5 p.m. at City Hall, the Planning Commission will hold a special meeting to consider an application for variance to increase building height and reduce the front yard setback for a new home. This is particularly interesting because we've had neighbors submit comment that this new home will block their view of the ocean. And I think all of us who live on the coast know that a view of the ocean is a prized view. And then last, I just want to thank the fire and rescue departments from Nehalem Bay, Garibaldi, and Bay City for joining Rockaway Beach Fire and Rescue in suppressing a house fire in the wee hours of the morning earlier in the week. We talked last week about collaboration, working together, and here we have it in action. So my hat's off to all who responded when called. With that, I'll turn it back to you, Commissioner.
Thank you, Mayor. Appreciate it. Do we have anyone on from the city of Garibaldi?
You do indeed.
Good morning.
Hello, how are you?
Well, thank you. How are
just
you?
Yeah, great. We have just a couple quick updates. We do have a special meeting on Monday. It starts at 5:30. We're going to be doing a GURA goal setting kind of session, and it's their quarterly meeting as well. And then council will be having their goal setting session at 6:30. And then we got some great stats from fire and discovered that we had 305 calls in 2023, which is over double what it was in 2020, with over 1,600 hours spent on calls by volunteers. So that's absolutely crazy. But we did just finish the training lot transfer from the Tillamook PUD, and we're very excited to have a dedicated space for fire training. And I believe that we should be receiving the first boat of a grant program for this low water rescue jet in February or March, and it'll be the first in Tillamook County. So definitely continuing to pioneer from that front.
Thank you, Mayor. That was Mayor Katie Findling. Appreciate you joining us. I suspect we don't have anyone on from the city of Bay City because I received a message from Mayor Welch that they could not join us today, but I'll just check in just in case. Bay City? How about the city of Tillamook? Nathan George, are you with us?
Good morning, Commissioner. Can you hear me?
Good morning, we can.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you. I apologize. I was trying to get off the mute there. Yes,
That's
I do
okay.
have a few things. Yeah, thank you. Wanted to go over a meeting last night that we had, the council meeting, a regular meeting. So first of all, due to inclement weather, it had been canceled from last Tuesday, so it got moved to last night. So we had a regular meeting. The council adopted some new public contracting rules just to be in line with the state, and it's the model that the League of Oregon Cities recommends. So that needs to place, and that basically raised a lot of the purchasing rates. And so also, the council did held a first reading on a shopping carts ordinance, which is to help regulate our shopping carts that are being deposited throughout the city. So there's several aspects of that, but mostly it helps our police department be able to enforce shopping carts either being taken or abandoned. We had our new, the council president appointment was done. It wasn't a new president, it's the same president. Councilor Reynolds will serve as our councilor president and will serve in the absence of our mayor if and when that occurs. Also, council had liaison appointments to the Tillamook Urban Renewal Agency and the Planning Commission. And we had the same two councilors stay on the TURA, which is Councilor Sandusky and Councilor Knopfsinger. And then on the Planning Commission, actually Councilor Torres will be on the Planning Commission now as a liaison to the City Council. We had all of our regular updates and reports, and those can all be found online if someone is interested, and also they can contact us and we can help guide them through that. In the excuse me, in the police department, the last few weeks have been very busy with calls for service, along with the ever-changing weather. Lieutenant Troxel attended a meeting regarding to how the police department can archive social media. That's something that's really important as we get into an age, well, not get into age, we're in an age of records, public records and social media. It's really important that you have a system that archives our social media. Otherwise, if we get into a lawsuit or any other reason, we have to be able to pull those records, and you really can't rely on the social media platforms to provide that service because they won't necessarily provide that for us. So we're looking at getting a company to do that, which will be very helpful to our public records. Sergeant Hollis attended the Oregon Chief of Police executive leadership training seminar in Seaside, and continuing education is important and a pillar of success. Sergeant Harrell also received new equipment for our officers' holsters. These devices ensure officers' body cameras are activated once the pistol leaves their holster. This is an invaluable tool, and we're excited to have these additional tools. So Sergeant Harrell received our new body cameras. This is exciting as they continue to deploy the best equipment possible for officers. And our department has been using body cameras for over 12 years, and this has proved to be a very invaluable tool, and we're excited to have the best equipment. Also, the first seatbelt blitz is coming up beginning January 29th through February 11th. Your annual police department officers will be working on the Oregon Department of Transportation grant overtime to educate the public about safety belt and seatbelt laws. And I also failed to mention back on the council meetings, we also had an executive session last night, which was the city manager's annual performance review. So, in the Public Works Department, we are trying to clean up after the storms, and over the storm, we had several issues with some of our infrastructure with our water and with our well. One of our wells went down. So I won't go into details about that, but just to report, we are definitely struggling with our infrastructure, and we're trying to figure out every way we can get all of our infrastructure eventually up to date and moving forward. And then in the future, I'm asking staff, we're working on putting together like a 100-year plan. Now, that's not going to happen tomorrow, but basically everything needs to be replaced, and when it needs to be replaced, to actually build our cities so we understand everything that needs to operate, so we don't have a situation where we all of a sudden have something, this was put in the ground in 1970 and no one's ever bothered to look at it. That's the problem we're facing right now. We have several positions available here at City Hall. Please visit our website or stop by City Hall for application. Reminder, if you see something, say something by calling 911 for emergencies. And our next council meeting will be held on Monday, February 5th at 7 p.m. It's going to be 6 p.m. No, it'll be 7 p.m. I apologize. Look forward to that. We encourage everyone interested in your local government to attend virtually or in person. The online posted agenda at City Hall Thursday before the meeting and by the close of business. Also, I wanted to mention that the meeting's on February 5th, but on next Monday, on the 29th of January, we'll be holding a work session that'll probably be at 6 o'clock, and that will be posted next week, and that is to talk about revenues. So staff will be talking with council about the lack of funding that the city has and where we're at with our revenues and budgets, and also be looking at a comprehensive list of revenues and exploring those options with the council to help get hopefully to help move our community ahead in the future. So that's all I have, Commissioner. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Nathan. Do we have any questions for Nathan? If not, I'll just check in and see if we have anyone from South County on the phone, on the call. Okay, if not, I will thank KTIL for recording this call. It will be available on KTIL's podcasts. I thank everyone for participating and thank everyone for listening. This call is adjourned at 9:09 a.m. Thanks, everyone.